Good morning, YouTube. I am Bearded Ink, and today we have another special Streamer.Bot and YouTube tutorial for you. This one should be pretty quick as well. But again, last Saturday on our live, we took it upon ourselves to try and make clips using a command for YouTube, and we figured out exactly how to do that. It's fairly easy, but there are a couple of steps to get it all set up. We are going to download and install a new plugin for OBS, which you should probably already have. And if you've followed any of my other tutorials on OBS Setup, cue the bubble, you then already have it. But if not, we're going to cover that, how to install it and what it does. And then we're going to set up OBS to get ready to be clipped. And then we are going to go into Streamer.Bot and set up the commands so that your chat can then do that whenever they like for you. So without further ado, I guess let's just get right into it and start this download on the plugin that we need, right? Okay, so we're going to head over here. And again, this link will be in the description below, as all links for anything that you need in my tutorials will be. We are going to get a plugin for OBS called Source Record. This is by Celdro. It is completely safe. It is completely amazing. And it is one of the main primary plugins that I always recommend people get when they first start with OBS. So if you have never installed the plugin before, it's a very simple process. So you're going to have two options based on how you have OBS installed. Now, for 99% of you, you've done a base install where you've downloaded OBS, you've gone through the installer, it's installed it for you. The OBS folder is in your programs directory and all this, right? The other few of you, or for those of you that are running multiple instances of OBS like I am, you may be running one in portable mode, which is then just OBS without the actual install, and everything is run internal in that directory. So what we're going to do is when you come to this page from the link down below, we are then going to come over here to the right, and we're going to click this little download button. And when you click this little download button, you're going to get this pop-up that has all of these different ones. Now, the Linux here, that is obviously if you're running OBS in Linux, the Mac OS if you're running it on Apple products, and then there's the window installer and the windows.zip. Now, the Windows installer is an exe file that's inside the zip file. And this is the one that you want to grab if you have the base install of OBS. So if you've done the full install, go ahead and grab this one by clicking the download link here. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you as well. So let me zoom back out so you can see. So we're just going to save everything to our desktop here. So we're going to save that to our desktop, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the windows.zip. Because I'm going to show you both ways to install this real quick. So we're going to go ahead and grab that one as well. And then we can just leave the page. Once we have the downloads, we don't need to be here anymore. And here we are. So we have the Windows and the Windows installer. Now we're going to go over the installer first because this is the one that, again, a majority of you are going to grab. Okay, so we're just going to extract this right here to the desktop. And what you're going to see then is you're going to have a little folder with an exe installed inside it. And all you're going to do is you're going to double click on the exe. It's going to do the UAC pop-up, and then it's going to ask to install. Now, I'm probably going to get an error because I do have OBS live and it is recording, and you have to have OBS shut down when you're installing a plugin. So make sure that OBS is closed before you start this process. But we're going to go ahead and just take you through it. Now, here's my warning, but obviously it's just going to be, it'll tell you to close it if you already have it open. And then it'll just go through a very quick install of the process. And basically all it's doing is taking directories or taking files and adding them to the proper directories. Okay, so I'm going to click on cancel here. Just to exit the setup so we don't screw anything up. But that's basically it. I mean, you know how to install things by now on your computer, hopefully. And if you have any problems, again, just leave a comment down below and myself or someone else will be glad to help you out. Now, for those of you that are like me and you have multiple instances of OBS, or you're running OBS in portable mode, you'll be able to tell if you're in portable mode or not, basically because you have to forcefully do that. But if you're ever curious, you can open OBS, and we'll zoom in here. And in the very, very top on the title bar, you'll have the version number that you're using, and then it'll say portable mode. If it doesn't say portable mode, you're not in portable mode, you're in a full install mode. And it will just say nothing here. It'll just say the profile that you're on, and then the scene. Usually this will be untitled or generic. But that's how you can tell, okay? But if you are in portable mode, you're gonna have to do a couple of other things. So first thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to open wherever it is that you have this mode, this install of OBS in. Now, for example, I have my YouTube one in my YouTube folder. Here's my OBS YouTube. And all we're going to do is we're going to leave this folder open. Okay. And we're going to take our zip file that we downloaded. We're going to extract that right to the desktop, because it doesn't really matter. And then once we have this, if we open this up, you'll see that it has a data and OBS plugins folder inside it. Right. And all we want to do is we want to copy both of these, and we want to be able to, we want to copy both of these and drag them over and just overwrite the stuff that's here. So it's not going to replace any core files or anything like that. And I'm going to get an error because the OBS is open. So we'll say cancel that, and I'll show you here. Now we can just close this version of OBS, and then we can just drag this over. We'll say replace. It doesn't really replace anything in OBS. It just adds the files to the plugins folder. So you'll see here, it'll add a PBP file and maybe a couple of DLLs or a pack file, depending on what that needs. So once you have all that done, one of the two, either the exe install that takes you through everything, or the portable mode manual install, you can get rid of these. And then we're going to reopen OBS. Okay, so we're going to come in here, we're going to reopen our OBS. So now that we have OBS back open, right, and here I am twice, I'm actually here 3 times. Hi, get enough bearded today. What we're going to do is we are on our main scene here, and basically now we're going to set up OBS so that it can be ready to be clipped. Now, with this new plugin that we just installed, the source record, we are able to record specific sources based on a filter. Now, what I like to do is decide what I want to have in my clips, and then I create a brand new scene. So we're going to take you through this process. And if you have any questions, of course, leave a comment. But if you have another way that you want to set it up, that's perfectly fine as well. Now, so we have a couple of ways that we can set this up, and I'm going to show you the 2 most prominent ways. One is very, very simple, but they both involve nested scenes. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to come and create a new scene, and this one we're just going to call it clips, because that's what it's for. So this scene is only going to be for clips. We're never going to see it live or anything like that. So once you name it, it'll switch over to that scene, and then again, you have no sources, you don't have anything in here. So with this one, you want to add everything that you want on your clip, right? So for example, we're going to have the gameplay, we're going to have our webcam, and you can't forget your audio. So I'm going to just add scenes, but I'm going to add elements, but they're going to be ones that we've already added. So when you click the little plus sign on the add source button, so when we're going to click on this, we're going to pick what our source is going to be. So first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and add our audio. Now, when you open the audio, you're going to get the new create select source, and there's going to be 2 options: create a brand new one or add existing. So if we click on add existing, we're going to see that our microphone that we've already added and have been using is already there. So we're just going to say okay, and now our microphone is there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add our game capture. So that's going to be either your window capture, your video capture device, your display capture, your game capture, whatever it may be. Again, add existing, and then we're going to click for our game source, and then there's our game. And we're going to go ahead and resize this all down like it was before. you know, so it kind of fits in there a little better. You can leave it full screen if you want. It really doesn't matter. It's just, this is what your scene is going to look like when you do the recording. And then the final thing we want to add in our scene is the webcam, because we want our pretty face on there, even though technically in this instance it is. Ignore that. This is the only video I had to use this as an example. But yeah, so we're going to do our video capture device. And again, same thing, add existing, add our webcam. It's going to be full screen and very scary. Oh, hi. Yeah. So we're going to come down here. We can reset all of our, we can set filters, you know, do whatever you want to do. But let's go ahead and move this around. So now we want to source this out to however you want to have it set up in your clip, right? So this looks good for now. We're just going to have that. So we have our webcam, we have our gameplay. Of course, you can make it as pretty as you want. You can bring in your alerts and your overlays and everything if you like. Or you can even set it up so that you have to do minimal editing if you want to upload your clip, say to like TikTok or to YouTube Shorts, right? You can come in here and you can put your gameplay down here. You can put your webcam up there. You can add a little graphic with your username, you know, however you want to do it. Okay. So you can get fancy with it. You can get more advanced with it, however you want. But right now we're just going to kind of leave it very basic just to show you what's going on. So once we have our scene here, right, now we want to come over to the actual scene, which we're on here, and we want to right click on this and we want to choose filters. Okay. So now that we have the filters option box open, we want to come down and click on the plus sign yet again, and we're going to look for source record. And it's pretty much alphabetical, so it's going to be near the bottom, source record. And we're going to click on that. And then once we click on that, we want to go ahead and untick the visibility. Make sure that you turn it so the visibility is off. And this is very important. The record mode, we're going to go through some of these settings now. So bear with me while we do this, okay? With the record mode, you can set this to record always, which means no matter what, whether you're live streaming, recording, or just have OBS open, and it'll always record this sources. You can have it only when you're streaming, only when you're recording, when you're streaming or recording, but not when just OBS is open and you're not doing anything with it, or when you're running the OBS virtual camera. Okay, so these are your options. Now, I highly recommend you just do streaming or recording to keep it basic. The path here is going to be where you want your videos saved. So you can click the browse button and choose where you would like them to be. The file name formatting, it currently does the year, month, day, hours, minutes, and seconds as the file name, but you can change this to be, you know, whatever you want. Just make sure that it's going to be something that doesn't overwrite previous clips. Okay, so if you name this, for example, if we name this clips, right? Then every time you make a clip, it'll overwrite the other one that's already named clip. It won't append. So you're going to have to put something there that will make it differentiate itself from another clip. But that naming choice, again, is up to you. Now, a recording format file, you can have an FLV, MP4, a .mov, an MKV, which is the native into OBS, the TS, or the M3U8. I'm just going to stick with MP4 because it's simple and almost everything takes it. And then you can set a maximum seconds, and this is so it doesn't keep recording forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, which we're going to prevent that anyway. But I always set this just to like 60 because we don't want a clip to be longer than a minute anyway. Now, the replay buffer, if you use that, you can have that on here, but we're not going to get into all of that now. The stream background, different audio, your encoders. We're going to go ahead and select whatever encoder we're using. And we're going to, because this is a clip and it's a recording, we want it to be high quality. So I'm going to bump this up to like 35,000. And we're going to set these all like we normally, and you do in your settings. So if you've seen our settings set up, you know what we do. P6 is good there. High pass, cyclotical, B frames is 2. I'm not going to cover all this because I've done that in the OBS setup, but it's basically the same encoder setups that you do on your output tab in the settings there. If you want different audio than what's like on your audio tracks or whatever, you can pick a different audio track, but we don't need that for this purposes because we're recording our own audio already. So once you have all of that done, we're going to click close. Okay, and now let me show you what this is going to do. So as you can see up here on my desktop, let me go back in. Hold on. Clips, filters. So what I want to do is I want to change this to go to my desktop. So I'm just going to click my desktop as where I want my clips stored. Now, if you have a dedicated clips folder, which I highly recommend, make sure that you do that there. Okay, so now let me show you what this is actually going to do. So when we minimize this down, you can see it's going to save to my desktop, which I want you to see what happens here. So if we come in here and we turn the filter on, that means it'll start activating all of this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start a recording here. Okay, and it's going to start recording, but now because we're recording, the filter knows that it can be applied to, or it can be met to record. So we're going to click on record, or we're going to click the toggle of visibility, and as you can see, it starts the recording right here. And then when I click it off, it'll finalize the recording, and then we have our clip. So I'm going to close this down. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording because I don't really need it, right? But here then is the clip that we just created. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of this so it's easier to see later. But now we want to come back into OBS. We're almost done. And we want to go back to our main game screen. So as you can see, we have all of this extra stuff on the screen here, but our recording for our clip is only the certain things. So you can, again, you can have the entire scene if you want to capture everything, or you can just pick your elements. So let's go back now into the clip scene, and I'm going to just delete all of these things. We're going to get rid of everything. Okay, now let's say you want your whole scene, right? So the whole tutorial scene. Now you can just put the filter on the tutorial scene, okay, just like we have here, and you can set that to go, or you can set this up in other different ways. So if we have this, let's say we have our clip scene and we want to add a few extra things to it that are not on the tutorial scene, you can do that here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the add source, and we're going to come to scene, okay, and we're going to click the scene, and we're going to, it only lets us add an existing one, and we're going to look for our gameplay, which in this case is called tutorial, and we're going to click OK. And as you can see now, it brings up the entire scene and everything that's in it, and that includes the audio. So whatever is in this scene is then going to be in this scene. Okay, you with me so far? But now let's say there's other things, other elements that I want maybe for the clip to be there. You know, if you don't normally have captions, say on your main game screen, you can add your captions to the clips, things like that, that will have you know, a little impact, or to help you make a YouTube short or a TikTok video or an Instagram reel or whatever. So you can add whatever you want here. So just for shits and giggles, we're going to add an image, and I'm just going to pick some random image that we got here. We'll do an avatar of we'll do my beard again. Let's do a blue one this time. So here's my beard, and we're gonna make it like a little watermark down here in the bottom of the actual video. Right now, as you can see on the tutorial, it's not there, but on the clip scene, whoops, on the clip scene, there it is. Right. So if we're on our tutorial page, and let me go ahead and minimize this back down. Right. So what we want is we want to turn the toggle the visibility of the filter. Okay, so we're going to come into filters here. I'm going to go back to the tutorial page over here. So as you can see, we're on our, this is what Stream is seeing right now, right? Because there's no little blue beard down here in the bottom right. But once we toggle the visibility of our source record, it's going to start a recording, as you can see. We're going to do a little clip of whatever happening, you know, oh yeah, we made it back to the RV. Apparently we're doing good. Okay, cool. And then we turn that off. Then it has our little clip. So if we go and look at the differences now, we can have our clip here. This is what got recorded. It is the entire scene plus the little watermark that we made, or the image, or, you know, if you want to have like a little laughing, you know, emote or whatever. But now we got to do the fun part, which is in the bot. So let's go over to the bot. Okay. So we're going to load up Streamer.Bot here, and we're just going to make a brand new action. We're going to call this action, make a clip, make a clip, right? And then I'm going to make this into a test group, and we're going to say, okay, so here's our make a clip. And now we need to add some sub actions. Now I like to let chat know what's going on, especially if they're using a command to do something. So in this instance, if they do, you know, exclamation point clip, or whatever your keyword is, then you will be able to give them some feedback. Let them know, oh, we're making your clip, you know, or your clip has been created, you know, things like that. So we're going to send a couple of messages to chat as well. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do that. We want to send a message to the YouTube chat. So I'm just going to go here. We're going to send message to channel. This is going to be from my bot account. Is going to go and broadcast to all broadcasts that are being monitored. And we're going to say, thank you, user. Okay, let me zoom in here so you can see what we're doing here. All right, so we're just going to say, thank you, user, exclamation point, your clip is being created. Now, through trial and error on the live stream, we have found out that most of the time this message will not get sent until the clip is done being created. So before we actually start the clip creation process, we're going to set a delay. So we're going to go core and delay, and we're just going to set this to 1 second. It doesn't need to be very long. And then we're going to say, okay. Now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to have the bot and the command here toggle the visibility of that filter. So we're going to come in here, we're going to right click, we're going to go to OBS. I'm going to zoom in for you. We're going to right click, we're going to go to OBS, we're going to go to scene, and we're going to set the scene filter state. Okay, and then our scene that we have is the clips scene, right? So we're going to select the clips from the drop down, and then our filter is source record, and we want to make it visible. And we're going to say okay. And then we're going to set another delay, and this is how long you want your clip to be. So for example, 30 seconds or whatever. So we're going to come back to core, we're going to come back to delay, and then we're going to set another delay for 30,000 milliseconds. Now, for the purposes of the tutorial here, I'm only going to record, we'll say we'll record for 5 seconds, okay? And then we're going to duplicate. So we'll right click on the scene filter here. Right click on that, we're going to go duplicate, and then all we have to do now is when we right click in here, we can come to visible and change the state from visible to hidden and click OK. And then we want to have the visual representation in chat that the clip was actually successfully created. So we're going to come in here, we're just going to duplicate again so we don't have to type all of that, and then we'll say done. User, your clip has been saved. Okay. And then we'll say, okay. So now here's what we got going on, right? We have a YouTube message that says, once we say, you know, once we use the command, thank you, user, your clip is being created. We delay for a second. We flip the visibility on that so that it creates a clip. We delay for 30 seconds, 5 seconds, 60 seconds, however long you want your default clip to be. And then we set the source record filter to hidden. And then we send another message saying everything is done. So now we need a trigger. So we're going to come up to the triggers. We're going to right click, and we're going to go into core. We're going to go to commands, and we're going to go to command triggered. And then we're just going to create a command. This one is going to be clip test because I'm testing. but you can name it clips, whatever you want to name it. And then the actual command, we're just going to use !clip. Now, because we're on YouTube here, we want to do YouTube message. We can uncheck Twitch message. Say that 5 times fast. And then we're going to ignore internal and ignore bot, because these can also be used with the chat and if it's coming from your bot account, and we don't want those to be ignored. Okay, so we want the actual clip to go through. So we're going to say okay. Now you can set any of those other settings that you want, the global cooldowns or anything like that. But for a clip command, it really doesn't need to be done. So we're going to say okay. And then all we have to do, I'm just going to come up here and delete this for clarity, get rid of that old thing. And then we still have our scene up. Our scene is still up and running. We're going to go ahead and minimize this down. Now notice we are on the tutorial scene, not the clip scene. So, okay, we're testing here. So we got to fake that we're streaming or recording. We're going to come back in here. We're going to test the trigger. Now that we're recording, the filter will actually trigger. So we've delayed. Now it'll wait 5 seconds in our case. And we have our clip now, and then the messages will be sent. Okay, so let me stop this recording again. God, I'm going to have a lot of cleanup to do today, aren't I? All right. And there you have it. You have clips. So now in your chat, when you're live on YouTube, !clip, and it will record the scene that you have that filter on. In this case, it is our clip scene. So again, make it how you want it. You can nest that scene anywhere you like as well. You can put other scenes in here. For example, I actually have a clip setup, and then the clip setup is where I have everything put into that scene. So like we did earlier with just the webcam and just the gameplay. And then I have a second scene inside that one that has a different setup. So the camera on top and the gameplay in the middle. And then I have a third one. And so depending on what I'm doing, I can do clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, and I can record, or I can do, clip all, and it will actually record all the different sources like that. So I have one that's set for a vertical layout. I have one that's a full screen layout. I have one that is just the audio and the video gameplay. I have one with and without the webcam, right? So you can see how you can have a lot of different options for that. So go ham with it, right? But yeah, simple, quick, easy. So there you go. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, you know what to do. All right, so I hope that helped you get a little bit of clarity on clips. So thank you all for being here. I hope that helped you. And if it did, give me a little thumbs up down there. And if it didn't, go ahead and hit that thumbs down. But all I ask is that if you do click the thumbs down button to dislike the video, leave a comment below and let me know what it is that you didn't like about the video so that I can get better moving forward. If you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. Glad to have you here. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Go ahead and click that little subscribe button down below as well to know when I post new tutorials, when I go live, and get all of the content that you can. And again, thank you. It's free and it makes me feel good. So if you have a request for a future tutorial, go ahead and drop that in the comments down below as well. We will get to those as soon as possible. I do have a long list of tutorials to get through, but requested by viewer get moved to the top. So we have a couple of those to get through as well. But I'm always willing to add more to that list. So go ahead and drop a comment and let me know what kind of tutorial you would like to see moving forward. And really, that's it. So now go set it up and make clips on YouTube. And if you run into any problems at all or any issues with this process, especially on YouTube, which this process will also work on Twitch, by the way. But this is, Twitch has their own stuff for clips and all of that. So for YouTube, this is a lifesaver and it's a game changer. And now you can make clips of your YouTube streams for free with Streamer.Bot, and it's easy. But yeah, if you run into any issues or problems or whatever with that, go ahead and leave a comment down below and we will get you answered right away. Or you can go and join the Discord. That link is in the comment below as well. We have a huge streamer resources section there, specific YouTube help. Go ahead and go in there, or the bot help, either one, and say, hey, I can't get this to work, and we'll get it set up for you. All right. But thank you all for being here. I do appreciate you very much. And until next time, everybody, love, peace, and chicken grease.